Welcome to Lead Like a Girl, where we are empowering everyday women through our stories. I'm your host, Jessica Smith, and I began this journey by sharing my life story. Now, I've joined forces with my longtime friends, Jamie and Corlin, to keep this party going. We met many years ago as young sales girls in our 20s, driven and quickly rising to the top of our industry. As the years went on, life happened, and we all found ourselves in new companies and completely different industries, still striving for success in it all. Career, family, faith, fun. Now, it wasn't easy, but we never stopped moving. Get ready for our real conversations, inspiring stories, and our big life lessons as we share it all. The good, the bad, and the funny. Welcome to Lead Like a Girl.
Welcome to another episode of Lead Like a Girl. I am excited today to talk about what we're talking about. We don't know what we're talking about, actually. We're just going to talk the whole time.
You kind of know when we start recording mid-laugh that there probably was a pre-conversation that all of our listeners kind of missed out on. And we got to get better about that for 2025, I think.
I know. I'm gonna write that down. But listen, for those of you that are listening, join us at Lead Like a Girl Lab on YouTube and all social media, Facebook and Instagram and TikTok and all of that good stuff. Share, follow, and we're loving the messages and the feedback, you guys. So thanks a lot. We appreciate your support. So we're going to jump into a conversation that is just that. It's just a conversation about 2024. We are on the 15th of the month as of now, and just wanted to talk about like a quick recap of our year and what that was all about. And I'm not big myself on New Year resolutions, so just what we're looking forward to in 2025. So who wants to get us kicked off, or who has a fun little icebreaker or fast fumble?
I have a question. That's going to be my resolution is I'm going to get you to the thing that we decided on calling that. We're going to get Jessica to be able to say it right. And I will tell you this quick story. Do you remember way back in the day, I was obsessed with Beverly Hills 90210, right? And it was on Wednesday nights usually. I think they moved to Thursdays too, but it would be on a new episode, and my two neighborhood friends, we would come over and we would watch it. And my mom could never ever get the numbers right. And that show was on for so long. And it was like, at some point, I'm like, are you serious? Are you trying to do this on purpose? And like, she just could not get the numbers right. And all of my friends and I are just like, what is wrong with her? I'm like, I don't know. She's really smart, but she just can't get the 5 numbers in the right order ever.
Sometimes we got to ride the short school bus every now and then.
I always confuse all the cities in Iowa that start with a D. And Brad makes fun of me all the time about it because I'm like, didn't we do that in Des Moines? He's like, no, it was in Dubuque. I'm like, wait, what about Davenport? Have we been to Davenport? And they're not
At
by
least
each
they start
other.
with a D.
It's like, I told him today, I'm like, oh, it was 1 year ago that we went to see Nate Bargatze with Corlin and Harrison. I'm like, remember we went to Owatonna?
No.
It was in Ottumwa.
Owatonna's in a completely different state.
I know. Yeah, it is.
By the way.
Oh, gosh.
All right.
You know, this actually is a good segue, too, because I was just talking, my husband and I were talking about like, what are we going to do for 2025 a little bit and whatever. And he's like, yeah, we didn't really do that much this year. Like, I'd really like to beef up 2025. And I looked at him and I'm like, did we? And then I started thinking, we did so many things in 2024 that it was like, I'm like, do you remember, babe? We saw Metallica and we saw Green Day and we saw Smashing Pumpkins and we went to Mexico and we took a trip out to Colorado with your family. I mean, there was just so many. I climbed a mountain. I mean, there was just so many things. And he's like, yeah, we didn't really do that much. And I'm like, how much is much? Like,
right. Yeah.
You know, so.
And I should have recapped with Will if I was going to talk about this year because, well, first of all, am I the only one that feels like the year was not 12 months, but it was actually like 3 months? That's what I feel like.
It was. That it went so fast?
Yes. It went so fast. Matter of fact, the last 2 years for me went really, really fast. And I just feel like time is just passing at this rapid speed. But overall, I don't think it was a horrible year for me. I just think that I was hoping for so much more, but I'm thankful. So I got to be careful with what I say, because I don't want to tell myself that I'm not happy when it could have been so much worse, right?
Do you just feel like if it's going by so fast, do you get the feeling like you're missing out on things, or just that you were so busy that why does it feel like it went so fast?
Because I feel like I didn't have enough time to accomplish everything that I wanted to accomplish. And yeah, so that's probably it. I'll probably say it. My most proud moment of the year is just what we did with volunteering with the 6th and 7th grade youth. I'm really praying and meditating if I really want to do this another year. So I'm not sure, and I'm still struggling with that. I was hoping to have a decision by the end of the year, so we'll see. Because it's hard. You only have so much time, and I really want to make sure I'm putting my time where God wants me to put my time. So that's, a struggle for me. I got to make sure it's not what I want, it's what He wants. So I'm just trying to figure it out. What about you good ladies?
I've been wrestling with that a lot too, that I feel that, I was talking with a kind of a mentor of mine, and I have a lot of good ideas, and he challenged back that, are they God ideas though? And really nailing in on thinking hard on what is your passion, what is your purpose. And those are really big things for me to think about, like, what is your purpose in taking time to and having enough margin in your headspace to actually nail it down and name it is a lot. And then also, like we've been talking about episode after episode, that if you have a specific purpose, then are the things that you're doing right now leading you towards that or into that, or is it moving further away? And I think sometimes I feel that over this last year, I've challenged some of my habits, some of the norms, some of the typical things that I would do, and question, I don't think we want to do that anymore. I don't think I want to have that or take time to do that, because it's not really moving me towards where I want to be. And I feel like through these conversations that we've had as women has really challenged me in that goal setting space and being more specific on where I want to spend my time, So I think that it's been really helpful, I feel like, over the last year to talk about some of these things out loud. Well, and amongst all of our hundreds of closest friends, our listeners.
So, Cor, good year or bad year? Where are you, if you had to, good year or bad year?
I'm a glass half full. It's a good year. I say it's a good year. But there was some really significant challenging things that we had been working on or overcoming this year. So it wasn't all rainbows and butterflies for sure. But hey,
Yeah, I'll say, I lost my grandparents. That was big deal for my family because they were both 90 some years old, but at the same time it was a celebration, and hopefully I'll do a Toastmaster speech on their love story, because that's how I feel it was a love story. They passed within a month of each other, but that was probably the biggest challenge for the year. I had some professional challenges for the past 2 years that really took a toll on me, and I think I'm kind of finally at the, how did we used to say it, the light at the end of the tunnel. So I'll say it wasn't the best. We stayed out of debt every year that we can stay out of debt. That is winning. So I'm super excited about that. So it wasn't a horrible year, but it could have been better.
What do you guys do when you're figuring out, like you said, Corlin and Jessica, you were just talking about staying out of debt. Like when you're trying to go through, maybe it's your list of what you want to accomplish, or maybe it's your list of goals, but what's your first step of narrowing that down so that you know what to focus on? I mean, like, what was it, Jessica, that you and Will did when you said, okay, we're going to make this a priority to stay out of debt. This is step one. Like what was the first step? Or like Corlin, you said, you're trying to narrow down what to focus on. What's the first thing you do?
So I'm going to share something I share with a lot of people. A lot of times when people are new into relationships, especially all my nieces. And I always say that at the end of the year, we sit down and we have a serious conversation. And Will and I have done this for years. And it is all about, like, over this past year, how did I grow as an individual? How did you grow as an individual? And how did we grow as a unit? If we don't have substantial things that we can talk about, and I know this is going to sound extreme to some people, but I question our relationship. I question our marriage. I question, why are we together? So we know that, and we go into every year and it's almost like a competition. We know we're going to have this conversation, and we're always trying to, like, it sounds weird, not one up each other, but we want to make sure that we're keeping up with one another. So then when we start talking about that, we say, what are some things and opportunities as we look at and reflect on our individual growth where maybe we can do better, and how can we support one another with doing that? And then when we talk about our unit, I'm one of those people who, I'm sorry, but I look at marriage a lot like a business. If we can't be business partners, then probably not good at marriage either. But we talk about that, and our finances are one of those things. So I remember one year being in $70,000 of credit card debt. And this is a whole nother show, but I'm like, this is not where I want to be. So when we talk about, like, how did we get there? Like what happened?
I was just going to ask you that. How the heck did you get there?
Well, that particular time is when we lost our job. So it was a little more not our fault, but even before that, I can remember being $40,000 in credit card debt, just buying dumb shit, just being in the Gucci store, being in the Louis Vuitton store, buying shit and that you can't afford just because you want nice things and maybe you're not used to having nice things. So anyway, back to your question is, in that conversation, we identify these areas, and then that's where we start. Okay, we've identified that maybe we didn't make the best financial decisions throughout this year, and this is how we're going to tackle it. We are going to, and right now we're on such a commitment. I don't care what I have to do or sell. Well, that didn't come out so right, but I am not, I am not getting into credit card debt. If I can't pay for it, I'm not charging it on a card. If I charge something, it's because I know I have the money in the bank. And that's a commitment now that we've been on for probably a good 4 or 5 years. And thankfully, every year we have not been in any credit card debt.
It's good.
That's great. And that's,
I think that with us, with our household, I think 2023 actually, so a year ago, was a really big year. And I would say, if I was going to say there was a hard year, 2023, there was a lot of things happen. I had a couple deaths, my career changed significantly, and there was just a lot of things happening so I think moving into 2024 at the beginning of the year, we didn't have the same conversation, Jess, but my husband and I just cannot have another year like that. So we just need to be really intentional. And I think one of the things that I did personally, I think kind of subconsciously at first, but as the year went on, is that, I mean, if I'm being really honest, 2023, I did a lot of things. Like, I poured myself into my job, into my own personal fitness, into just a lot of different things. And I look back and it was probably a little selfish, or it was a little selfish. And so I was on the neglecting side of my spouse and my son, and put some things ahead of other things that probably should have been the other way around. And so,
did you notice that, or did they notice that?
I think it was collectively looking back and just saying, oh my gosh, like, why was that so hard? And I think there's quite a few things that happened out of my control, but the things that I could control, I was so hungry to make some things happen that I sacrificed some relationship pieces that was not good. And looking back at that, so in moving into 2024, I could say, or I did say, I just want to make my marriage a priority and make my relationship with my son a priority. And so moving through this year, it's been a little challenging because I've had to say no to some things. But on the other side of that, I've had the opportunity to watch my husband really get into his music passion. He's always played the guitar. He loves to sing. I mean, he's done that for a long, long time, but he's starting a little band with a buddy of his. And so me allowing him to say, yes, you can have your friend come over and play music on Thursday nights, and they've come here, and then being able to show up and watch him do those things. And then also spending a lot of time with our son and playing football in the front yard and just whatever, just doing those things. I think that has been very, very good. I mean, obviously there's still a lot of things that we can work on and whatnot, but through this last year, I've really tried to be a better person in the circles that I'm called to, right? It's just as a mom and as a wife, it's kind of ebbs and flows a little bit, but I think that I showed up a little bit better this year than I have previously.
Yeah.
This is all good for me to hear because I'm not married. and yes, I've been in, committed relationship. Don't get me wrong, but I have been a single mom. I have not been married for 16 years. So historically,
has it been that long?
Mm-hmm.
Girl, go ahead and get married.
It's so funny because I feel like I don't picture you as a single person. I mean, even you are, but I also feel like you've had
single as a marital status. She's been in relationships.
Yes. Yeah.
Correct. Yeah.
But in terms of like making financial decisions, every one of those has been just myself. There has not been a combined financial goal or bought a house with someone, or it's like for a long time, for years, a long time. And so like at this point in my life, I'm now at the point with my significant other where we're just starting, we're planning a life together, and we're just starting those discussions on, okay, what are our financial goals? Like, what are our goals? And so listening to the two of you talk about how you've discussed this with your spouses gives me some ideas on, good, that can be a step one for myself. So good for me to hear.
Yeah. Well, Jamie,
sure.
I know that you probably will look back and say, it wasn't the best year for you, but I'll tell you from the outside looking in, I already knew you were like this badass, really strong, like super woman. But to watch from the outside looking in this year, you took it to a whole nother level. Let me just tell you that. So I have really, really just, as you guys know, my circles are really small. And part of that is, I'm working on my empathy for those that are a little on the weaker side. But I aspire to have the type of strength that I witnessed this year. And I'm just grateful to have, been on the sideline supporting and praying and all of that good stuff. But I know that your 2025 is definitely going to make up for it.
I sure hope so. Yeah, it was your first question when we started was like, tell me about your year. And it's like, can I go last? Can I not go? No. Yeah, it was a very transitional year. Sometimes I think back to years in the past and really all of our lives. And I think, oh my gosh, how I feel like between the three of us, we've probably experienced everything any person could ever experience, from medical issues to divorce to just abuse to amazing success to awesome marriage to children. I mean, there's just there's so many things. There's and having a group and having close friendships and our trio and having a tribe that you can lean on when you need to. And then also break down to when you need to, is just that's how we get through it, right? And I think Corlin, when you were talking about coming up, thinking about the God things and what your goals are, and that, that got me thinking a bit about, my past year. So 2023, one of the things I'm most proud of is I was a coach for Girls on the Run. So I'm very proud. I did for like 6 seasons. I owned a small business with my mom, which we started when my stepdad passed away, and was really, really great for her, great for me, something we got to do together, and taught me a lot as well. But then when you look at the beginning of this year, I had a new job, so I didn't really have the time to be able to coach. So I had to stop doing that. I hurt my knee. So I unfortunately had to put a pause on some of my fitness goals. My mom, got really sick. And so we had to put a pause on the business. And unfortunately she's now passed away. And so the business is over.
Yeah.
And it just,
didn't you end, not to put your business in the streets, but didn't you end a relationship and start a relationship? Was that 2024 or was that 2023?
Ended it about 3 years ago, and then started one like 2 years ago.
Oh, okay. Wow. See what I'm saying? 2 years ago?
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah. I took a break.
I took a break. Well, but you moved in with someone in 2024. That's a major change, life change.
Huge change in that. Yeah. And another new job. I started a new position, right? I started a new position last summer, and then was pretty early on was recruited. And that recruitment process took 5 months or so, 4 or 5 months. And it was an offer I could not refuse. And so I'm not one, you guys know me, I don't jump around. Like, I stay for a long time with companies. Yeah. So it was kind of odd to have that, but yeah, an entirely new industry. So yeah, this year there's so many things that have happened. Just a whole year of transition. So I keep looking at next year and thinking, okay, I'm on the right track, career-wise. I've got a new plan, fitness-wise, taking care of my injury so that I can get back into making some fitness goals. Financially, things are on track. My youngest daughter will be entering her senior year of high school next year, so it's some of that, will be the exciting things that you get to experience that last year of school. So I'm really hoping that 2025 is not as exciting as 2024. I hate to say it, but I got my fingers crossed for a little bit more of a boring year.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
yeah, absolutely.
But yeah.
Well, and it's so hard too, I feel, as you're talking, Jamie, that when all those things happen, all those things that you listed off in 2024, none of that was something that was expected. It all came as a surprise, really. Mm-hmm. And we're just forced into pivoting.
Yeah, there was no preparation.
Yeah. Yeah, but it's a test of your resiliency. Seriously. It really is. It's a test. So now we're looking ahead, right? We're looking at 2025. What are some of the, and we don't have to call them goals. What are we, I think, Jamie, you just said, I'm looking forward to just a boring year, right? Just a quiet year. What about you, Cor? Like, what are you hoping for 2025? What can I put you down for on my prayer list, girl?
You said, is this written in pencil? I think that as we were talking about in 2024, to continue on just really being intentional with our time and our space and our relationship. I feel that personally and probably professionally, I'm moving into a space where there is something big on the horizon, and I don't really have my finger on it just yet, but and again, not getting too preachy, but God is calling me into something and I don't know what it is. So I feel like I'm moving into this year a little, not a little nervous, but just that little like anticipation that that something's gonna happen, and I feel it. I've been actually praying for it, and I'm ready to receive it, even though I love change to some degree when I have control over said change, but moving into a space where you don't have control gives me a little bit of uncertainty, and whether it's anxiety or anticipation that 2025 is going to be a big year, and I don't have my finger on it yet, but I'm excited for that. And I think that really being open to hearing from God about what my next steps are and really listening and being patient. That's a real broad brush. So I don't know what you're going to write down on that, Jess.
Oh, I got it. The good news is God already
But
knows.
also too, like moving in step with my husband too, right? Like he is just working on his own things and being excited about some of the things that he's doing on. And I want to champion him and be a good support person for him too, so we can move forward together in a great space too. So that's
so much. Listen, for those listeners that are single, don't rush it. I love my family, I love my husband, but this stuff is work. It is work, and it is work, and it's hard work. Because Coralyn, what you just said is spot on, because it's not just about everything that I aspire to do and all of my dreams and goals, but I got a whole nother person outside of children that you have to actually support, and their goals are just as important as yours. And so that's like a whole nother thing. I just think overall for me, I look back and I say, man, when I was younger, I feel like there wasn't a lot of stuff that I wasn't fearful. And even though I may not say, I could say I don't walk in fear now, but sometimes I sit on things and it's like, I want this year to just be this year of just jumping into things and just trusting that God is going to catch you on the other side and not worry about trying to figure out. Because sometimes I just want to know the answers to everything. Well, if I do this, I want to make sure I know this, and I got to do this. And, and I just want to jump into more things and just really take a leap of faith. That's kind of going to be my overarching theme for the year. Just do it, right? Like Nike, just do it, and just trust that if I'm aligned and in sync and doing what I'm supposed to do every single day, then I don't have to worry about making a bad choice that I can't get out of. And it's okay if I fail, then I fail. I learned something. So that's kind of what my foundation of the year is to just frickin' do it. Just stop overthinking things. So.
Well, and taking those chances. Yeah. And you just can't prepare for things sometimes. And Coralyn, you're kind of at that right now. It's like you think something big's coming. You can't prepare for it because you don't know what it is. Or Jessica, if you're just going to do it, you're going to take a chance. You really can't prepare for that. So it's almost like having the confidence in yourself, surrounding yourself with people who have confidence in you, surrounding yourself with people who are going to lift you up, and also just having that positive attitude, which I know that's kind of that cliche, but it's true. Having a positive attitude, all of those things make it a little bit easier, even if you're not prepared, but it makes it a little bit easier to take the chance and take the jump and accept whatever that next step is and be able to just go with it.
Yeah, that's a good wrap up. That's a good wrap up and recap of everything, Jamie. And I think that Coralyn said this a couple times. Be intentional. I say that like a broken record. Like, be intentional. Just don't be someone who just says, oh, you don't have to call it New Year's resolutions. You don't have to call it goals, whatever it is. But just have something that you're working towards, and make sure that every single day, whatever you're doing, whatever you're saying, whatever you're spending your time doing is working towards where you want to go. Because sometimes we just waste time, or we do things that are actually taking us in the opposite direction. So you got to know where you're headed and make sure that everything you do is surrounded around that thing. So that's all I got. Corlin, any closing thoughts for us?
Yeah, I just keep going back to, as we move forward and keep talking about goal setting, that if you make space for what matters, you are going to move in that direction. And I think that's if there is a goal for 2025 for me right now, back in episode 18 or whatever it was, we said this, so you can go back and listen to it, but we had talked about scheduling and our, like, making sure our weekly schedules are good. But if I am good at making my work schedule fit and all those things, that I want to be just as good as making space on my schedule for all those other things that are going to have a lasting impact. That if it's not on my schedule, it's not going to happen. So I need to be really diligent about, all right, this is the time I'm going to spend playing a game. Like, I sat down last night and I spent probably 3-4 hours with my son, and we watched a show that he's been obsessing about for a little while. We came down and we worked out, and he's like, "Mom, you want to play a game?" I'm like, yes I do. And so we sat and played a game. Like, literally on the floor in our sunroom, we sat and played a game. And and at the end of the day, he sat down and he actually told me some things that were on his heart, and said that he was asking me questions about, like, actually real significant things. And had I not had that space and time with him, I don't think we would have had that conversation. It wasn't like mind-blowing or rocket science, but if we don't have those times that have, like, some margin to produce some of those things, then we're going to miss out. And I don't want to miss out. Yeah. And I think I have missed out in some things by having my priorities in misalignment. So
I love that. All right, ladies. Well, I also want to, I don't know, I know he listens sometimes, but I want to just give a quick birthday plug to Mr. Paul Valentino. Today is his 60th birthday. One of my greatest mentors, friends, dads, bosses, all of those things. Many, many years we spent together, and the guy's a good, genuine guy. And I hope that his next year is filled with lots of happy moments as well. We love you.
Can I bring up one memory about Paul that will be fantastic for you to remember? I just have a vision when we went to conference and it was a costume party, and Paul showed up as Michael Jackson.
Michael Jackson! I never knew he looked so much like Michael Jackson.
Oh my gosh, that was hilarious.
Yeah, that was a good one.
Paul's awesome.
Well, wait, if he was Michael Jackson, what was Mark?
I don't want to say.
Oh. I don't remember. That's where I'm at.
He was maybe also Michael Jackson.
Oh, no. I thought was he a little boy? Is that what it was? That was, see, and then they have that.
I was trying to keep it just.
No, Jamie's saying no. I think she's serious. All right. Well, we're gonna wrap up with that, and good conversation. Thank you, ladies, for sharing your recap of your year and what you're looking forward to in the next year. Remember, you can hear us you can watch us on Lead Like a Girl Lab on YouTube, and all social media. Lead Like a Girl. So thanks a lot for listening. Until next time.
Bye.
See you next week.
Press the right button.